I'm Louise Evan-Wong, and the organisation I'm going to talk about is BECON, which stands for Black Ethnic Minorities Community Organisation Network, but BECON for short. And it was actually started in about 2010, no, sorry, 2001. And I was one of the first chairs of the trustee board. But actually, we started long before that because the government office were tasked by the cabinet office to see what was going on with the BME sector, because we were well behind in terms of jobs, housing, education, everything. And in 2010, there was going to be the Equality Act. So they wanted to make sure that the BME sector was going to be able to participate and be protected by the new legislation. Because in the past, really, the small Black organizations had to fight against each other to get grants. And so it was very much a kind of non-cooperative situation to start with. And it was really hard to build up trust because we didn't want BECON to be seen as the main organization, so all the funds went to them. So we finally agreed that it would be an umbrella kind of organization, or what they call an infrastructure organization, and that it would never deliver services, because that mainly the small BME organizations were delivering services. So we wouldn't compete with them, but we could bring in funds, because if we got trusted by the funders, then we could be that kind of point where we would bring in funds, and then the little organizations could have access to those funds. That was on our side was this guy called Paul Boateng, and he was a Black man, and he was in the cabinet office. And so he was kind of behind us, really, and he would invite us up to to Westminster, and actually wanted to hear what we had to say, which was really encouraging. And then on occasions he came to Newcastle, and we got invited, to go for a meal and stuff. We were absolutely amazed, actually. I think mainly the impact was about bringing people together through the sub-regional networks, about raising the profile of the BME sector, and also about educating or upskilling people in authority so that they realized the value of having BME people contribute to decision making, and also to the different kinds of issues. And so, we would always make sure when we had meetings, we would invite anybody could come to them, and government office and everybody, quite a few of the decision makers would come. And I think that we showed them how to be welcoming and inclusive in meetings, which they didn't do, because we always would start with something fun to get people relaxed and together, and then we would let people have a chance to mingle and introduce each other. We'll always have really good food. We always made sure there was entertainment as well as information. So I think if they contrasted it with the way they did their meetings, they would realize that there was different ways of doing things, which actually probably was more productive. You see, we started out as part of the different strands of equality. So we were the BME strand, and I think that because BECON had been going and had already had all these meetings where we brought the small organizations together, we had a really good reach, and probably a better reach than some of the other strands. So there was no LGBT strand or no physical strand until the Fed came along. So and in terms of age, there was Age UK, and then there was also the youth groups. So I think that BECON played a really important part in terms of disseminating information about Black issues to those different strands, but also to the decision makers. So, it was really important for instance, the grant givers to realize it wasn't about charity, and it wasn't about dishing out money to people, to victims. It was actually about making things a bit more even, and also realizing that whatever they gave would be given back double and treble in terms of the skills and the enthusiasm and expertise that would come from the sorts of sessions that they were funding. So I think that was a big change, because before that it was kind of like, when you just pop some money in somebody's hat because they're playing music or something. It's just about the givers realizing that actually they're getting as well.